Moon gang. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Friday afternoon. I hope you're having a good one. Folks, some things to go about really quickly, though, because I believe Stephanie Kimmerman is coming on to talk with Mr. Charles Payne on making money, going over some dark pool stuff. So I definitely want to catch that. But just so you know, AMC at 36, GME at 177. Quick Ortex update for you. AMC 3.28 million borrowed against it, 1.44 million net, 14.74% in terms of GME. 80,000 net borrowed against it, short interest of 15%. Just trying to get you those quick updates. And just so you know, on this other side, let me just make sure we have the making money all set up for you. I know we don't want to miss this. All right, let me do it real quick. Real quick. Happy Friday, everyone. 2 hours to go. Coming up, black holes of dark pools. All right, we have this. We are getting ready. All right, let me get this over here. We don't want to miss any of this. And then in terms of volume, I know you guys can't hear it quite yet. Let me just double check.
It's in an infrastructure
All right,
bill,
we are ready to go. We just have some, it's coming up. I believe it's actually next. We just have to wait for the ads to play through. We are ready. Making money with Charles Payne.
Monster day for the market that continues to display remarkable resolve that really matches the commitment of the individual investor. That's right, it's not Wall Street where pessimism continues to run high and more folks are jumping on the pullback bandwagon. Now, many of those experts have boxed themselves in because, well, they so rigidly refuse to admit that their work is wrong whenever it's wrong, although some are grudgingly coming around. Hence, you see big upgrades today on stocks, many of which are already changing hands at all-time highs. Of course, it's still a very selective market. Coming into today's session, less than half the names in the S&P 500 were even above their 50-day moving average. Meanwhile, there are so many subplots, folks. I mean, the market continues to potentially deal with a lot more government spending coming in. There's the Fed tapering and inflation talk. And what the heck is going on in China, where the communist government there has actually gone to war with its most profitable companies? Joining me now to help hash it all out, University of Maryland economist Peter Marisi.
I guess
Peter,
the dark pool thing isn't first, so what we're going to do, just wait for Stephanie Kimmerman to come on to talk about these dark pools. But for now, we can throw AMC up. IWM somehow pushing back. It looks like SPY was rejected at the psychological level of 440, taking a bit of a breather right now. Let me get this out there so we have more people to talk about dark pools so we can all learn a little bit of something. All right, let me get this out to the world. Just tweeting this out. Live dark pool talk. All right, good. So it ended up being a pretty boring Friday. AMC flat at 36. GME went down to 173, up to 180, now 177, still relatively flat. GME volume, not even 1,829,000. AMC, what are we at? 64 million. Not bad, but also not specifically good, or kind of in the middle. Nothing too wild. All right, we're still waiting on that. All right, what else do we have? We have these. Here's a look at the bigger picture. GME, very similar. SPY. Oh, just so you know, the SPY, the S&P 500, our stock market did hit a new all-time high. SPY ETF, exchange traded fund, think of it as a basket of stocks. This particular basket is tracking 500 of the biggest companies in the US. That's why it's thought to be a barometer for the overall stock market. That did hit a new all-time high. I'm not talking for the year, the week, the month, anything like that. Historically, we made a brand new, never seen before high today. And let's see what that current high actually is. 440.04. All right, let me get that. Let's see if there's any breaking news across the board here. All right, we are good to go. Dogecoin rallied. Unusual Options activity. We had a bullish sweep, the 36s for today. So someone came in, as I'm assuming, obviously a day trade because they expired today, but they took some size on the 36s. But overall, kind of quiet. It's a calm Friday. People are more ready. What are they doing this weekend? All right. I'm just waiting for this particular clip to end. Where are we going? All right. Now let's get to some of your questions. What do we have? What are your questions? Matt, if you look at Gary Gensler, Twitter looks like he posted a poll earlier this month. Hopefully they look into naked shorts. I'm told that that's not necessarily a, I don't think that's his. Has anyone confirmed if that is like actually his Twitter? Someone said, bam, tweet. Matt is now featured on the new track. Wait, Jane, new track of what? I got featured? Since we own the float, could we vote to take the company private? Would that expose shorts, then take it public later? I'm not really sure about that, but like we can only vote on the proposals that are given to us. So that would have to be proposal. But we don't necessarily own the entire float, but we do control a majority of the vote. I don't get it. Most of us are playing with house money. Why does anyone think we're going away? I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Hodel, searching for adventure. Shout out. Where can I get the music that you played at the beginning? It's Martian XTG. If you search that on YouTube, it's called Boom Boom Candles. And then there's some other ones as well. All right. We are waiting. Quick market check. I believe Stephanie Cameraman. She is on Twitter. I believe. What is her Twitter? Let me find hers really quick. Stephanie Cameraman. I think it's volume print with PRINT Cess. Volume Princess. Stephanie with an F, not a PH. Stephanie Cameraman, the stock whisperer, is her Twitter. She's the one who's coming on to talk with Charles Payne about dark pools. All right. They're talking about Snapchat. If you're in Snapchat, congratulations, because it's been having a monster day. They did really, really well with their earnings announcement. Hence, the stock is running like a madman. All right, what do you think about SUIC FinTech? It's been running for the last couple of days. If it's been running for a couple of days, I could probably tell you shouldn't be chasing it. You don't want to be late to the party. Little bit of resistance right here, more resistance at 336. This is more of a penny stock, though. It's an OTC penny stock. I mean, it looked like this is a weird chart. It runs up, it gets destroyed, it's trying to bounce. Like, I wouldn't mess around with this. It would have been one thing for a bounce play, but now you're a little bit late to the party. I don't know anything about it. I know it's not on a normal exchange. It's on the gray market, which is even less regulated. If you think AMC and GME are not regulated, like, you're really not going to like the gray market, not regulated much on a relative basis. It might keep going, but to me, it's not worth the risk. All right. GME, really, really flat, not doing anything. AMC waking up a little bit, getting over 36. Would love to see it above 36.78. Here we go. Let me mark this out really quick. IWM, you going to keep pushing or no? Hey, brother, man, just filled my icebox with some great looking meat from ButcherBox. The marinara delivery woman eyeing the box came in, so she may be feeling. John, what's going on, man? Good afternoon, Kinky Kohrs. Could you explain the buy sell walls? I don't understand what I'm looking at on your level 2. Oh, okay. Yeah. So here we have AMC's level 2. Basically, level 2, this level 2 is the New York Stock Exchange. This is one exchange's lit exchange. So as in you can see the sitting buy orders and the sitting sell orders. So when you put in a limit buy, a limit sell, that's what we're looking at here, but this is specific to the New York Stock Exchange. So this is the amount of shares trying to be bought as you go down at the associated price. And on the right side, that's the exact opposite. These are the sitting sell orders. And then up top, that's just like a graphical representation. Basically, it's the total aggregate, like it's adding in each cent of the total amount of sell orders. And then as you go deeper down the bid, that's the total amount of buy orders. So it's just a quick graphical representation. But remember, this is one of the lit exchanges, as in one of 14, the New York Stock Exchange, but this isn't talking about the market makers, and this is also not showing you the data for the dark pools. This is literally just one exchange and the current buy and sell orders for that exchange. Let's all tweet WikiLeaks to investigate AMC dark pool corruption or set up GoFundMe to purchase spyware. Oh, brother. I don't know. The GoFundMe, this crowdfunding, it's a little bit of a tense subject, I would say, in this community. Little bit of a tense subject. Right. How are we doing this? IWM pushing, showing a bit of life. I like it. AMC pushing, S&P 500 pushing. Let's see what we could put together for Power Hour. Are we on Stephanie yet? No, talking about Starbucks. Restaurants. All right. SPY coming back alive. Is he going to make a new high? What other questions do we have, folks? I'm so happy it's a Friday. It feels like an oddly long week. Folks, not much longer to go. Depending on where you are, maybe you're already off work for the day. Maybe you have even more hours to go. I don't know. But hey, it's Friday. It's the weekend. The weekend's here. We're going to be able to rest and relax. IWM. Whoa. Nice little candle handle. My shares are with Schwab. I can't find anything about share lending. Do they do it? Oh, I'm sure they do. Jack and Marvin, that might be something. If you can't see anything easily, you might have to call them. But I've never heard of a brokerage that like just doesn't do lending. It's a big money maker for them. What do you think of the BAM investor model? I mean, I don't know much about, like, I know it's more of a kind of a psychology based thing, I believe, but I don't know much about how it's created. And I also don't know the specific numbers on its accuracy. Sometimes I've seen him get things spot on, and then other times he's definitely been wrong. But in terms of like mathematically of like what is his accuracy, I don't know that number off the top of my head. Kinky Kohrs. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, they're doing the ads. Is this what's coming up next? Usually he tweets out, oops, the order. Where did this go? Did I just accidentally click on the Fidelity ad? Hold on. All right, there we go. We are good. Let's go. Usually he tweets out the order. Charles Payne. What is the order? Growth versus value. No debate. Volume princess. I thought she would be first. This is why I thought she would be first. Well, he hasn't talked to these people, has he? Beverly? No. Chief Market Strategist, Senior Vice President, LP. All right, no. Daryl? How's Daryl been doing? Congressman from California. I think she should be coming up soon for what we're interested in about dark pools. Oh, she comes on at 2:40. Well, that means we have some time to kill, folks. 2:40. Is that what she tweeted out? Volume. 240. Did she say 240? EDU. Dark pool coming up at 230. I'm seeing 230 from her account. So it sounds like we have a little bit of time. Little bit of time, folks. If for some reason I get going on a rant and then all of a sudden she's on and I'm like missing it, feel free to let me know. Feel free to let me know. Whoa, did not want to do that. It's actually probably a better way for us to pay attention to it, though. All right, AMC looking alive, making that run to 36.50, looking for the breakout of 36.75. What is this going to do? Man, IWM coming back to life, folks. It was a brutal morning for it. It ran up, bounced right off of 218. And now we're getting a nice recovery associated with somewhat of a recovery in AMC. I think things could get a bit spicy above 36.75. Awesome. Maybe we'll end this Friday on a super positive note. Man, this is how low a volume is. I'm on GME's 5-minute chart. There's been some 5-minute periods where like it's essentially just trading nothing. Just the volume, the volatility has completely dried up on it. We want that. Someone needs to turn that faucet back on. The faucet needs to come back on there. All right, let's stand up. Let's stand up. Let's work on our 6-packs, folks. All right. Here we go. A little bit of Friday fun. The Friday sessions are always a little bit lighter, so gives us the opportunity to actually have some fun. All right, what are we listening? Ooh, this is kind of important. Let's listen to this.
You know, that's real or not. But from what you understand and what you see now, if they go through with this on Monday, would you be voting for it?
I don't expect to be. Years ago, back in 2008-9, there was a book written called Senseless Panic that came out of that $1 trillion bailout when the banks were collapsing. What's amazing here is this investment, as it's being called, especially in human infrastructure, is really uncalled for at a time when you've got inflation already underway and you clearly have an overheated economy, one that is begging for workers to return to work. And so what are we going to do?
Sorry, that
We're going to
volume was a
find
little
ways
light.
to stimulate.
This is important for IWM, by the way,
and add to the debt.
which then is important for AMC.
Senseless overstatement at a time when the economy is begging for a little restraint by us in Washington.
Well, to that point, that $3.5 trillion comes down to President Biden convincing 2 senators to go against their word. And with all due respect, it's not the hardest thing in the world to get a politician to go against their word. So if it goes through, I think it fundamentally changes America. I know we focus on the price tag, but I'm as concerned or more concerned about how fundamentally changes us. You kind of touched on it. A nation that would rather not work, a nation that's wooed away from self-achievement, things like that. Your thoughts?
Feel likely.
Well, you're exactly right. At a time when we're trying to get people back to work and get people back to responsibility, the president is promoting the idea of, again, expanding the pay not to work. And if you noticed it coming out, he's also talking about further deferring people returning to paying their own mortgages.
Okay, someone asked, check out this 66,000 share order on the level 2. 66,000. Did they already pull that, Angie, or is that the one that we're paying attention to? I'm not seeing the 66, but remember, they can put things up there quickly, take them down quickly. Whoa. Okay. AMC trying to do something for the afternoon. I read that if a stock pays dividends, the shorts are obligated to pay the dividend on borrowed shares. In theory, could drain them of liquidity. This is so the first part of your question, yeah, that's what happens. If you're borrowing those shares and there's a dividend, then as a short, you have to pay that dividend. Could drain them of their liquidity. Liquidity in the stock market is not that. Liquidity in the stock market is how easily is a stock trade? How built out are the bid and ask? Like, can sizable positions get in and out with like relative ease? It's not the liquidity that we think of in terms of like how much money you have. I know that there's some creators who have been getting that wrong, but please, that is not liquidity. We think of liquidity of like how much cash do you have. Liquidity in the stock market is how easily is the stock actually traded. So for example, penny stocks is not like all of them out there. You could just go buy 1 million shares. If you wanted to buy 1 million shares of AMC right now, yeah, you could. It would take you a little bit, but you're eventually going to get filled. There's certain stocks that literally just don't trade that much in a day. So it's not a high liquid stock. It's difficult to get in and out. Fun Friday, Ape. Shout out Adam. So most of my shares are with Schwab and as well, but within my 401k PCRA account, I couldn't find the share option anywhere. May need to call. If you do end up doing that, can you let us know just so other people on Schwab know like what's going to happen? Jack. All right. I think we're up to date there. Oh, I should probably turn this around, turn this audio up so I can hear when they're done, and then I'll let you guys know. All right, AMC going for a breakout, 36.75 coming. Ooh, dark pools. Dark pools swirling. Is it starting now? Coming up. All right, coming up. So he's at 230? I think Stephanie's next. I believe she's next. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe I'm wrong. A certain YouTuber said that the shorts tested buying back some at 50. Is that even possible? I don't think so because we haven't hit 50 in a while. I don't know. Doesn't sound the most logical to me. All right. It is Friday. I hope everyone's getting up to something fun this weekend, even if that's just kicking it back on your couch and finally getting some relaxation. I know the community at large would appreciate that. A lot of us just a little bit of a breather. Right? Audio. What do you mean? I mean, it's just a commercial right now. I have the audio off. It's just a commercial. Just a commercial. Oof. I spent my vacation money on that dip. Shout out, Timothy. Well, I hope you make money to take a gazillion vacations after. What is this available? What is this? Apes to the moon. That's hilarious. Friday. Not a dead ape. If you had to guess how many hedge funds have to cover AMC, it's not the important number isn't how many hedge funds, it's how many shares. And I mean, the ones we just know of, like the ones that at minimum, we're talking 94 million. That's like an absolute bare minimum. All right. AMC, boom goes the dynamite. We're fighting back. This thing might go green on the day. That's awesome. We're picking up some action. Here we go. What is the previous close? 37.24. This is the red green line. 37.24. There we go. This is the red green move. Nice. 2 of 9. Here, let me redo it. Come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, I'll let you know when the ads are done, but AMC, red, green, red, green, red, green. The old red-green move, that's awesome. Some strength, turning it around, not letting the Bears beat us down. Red dot, green dot. I guess that's not an emoji. Green. How is a red dot an emoji, but a green dot is not? Am I like losing my mind? Green dot emoji. Oh, this one is not the one's a red dot, but the green one is called a green circle. Obviously, completely different. Completely different. One's a dot, one's a circle. Here we go. We're making that move. About to go green. Get ready, get ready. Get ready, get ready. And then we're going to be listening to this. Sweet, sweet, sweet. I just can't believe it's called green circle. We have a red dot and a green circle. Tough. These emoji namers. What will they come up with next? What is this? Nope. Major indices. I'll let you know. We're here for the dark pool talk. Here we go. 16 cents away. We're getting there. GME also waking up. We're pushing 180. We're pushing, folks. We're ending Friday on a nice green note. Imagine one day on Friday and all the apes kicking back their feet up in piles and piles of money. Love y'all. Hodl. Got my fam to buy MC because I'm not sharing my money. I would love to see you and Hunter interview. Is that possible? I mean, he's previously been on the channel. I don't know. It would be youth. We don't really need to have another one. Thank you for letting me know the difference. My point was, is there a way to vote on a dividend? Could help it hitting shorts in their wallets. It's not up to us to decide if there's a dividend. The leadership team would have to decide. Generally, when a company has debt, they're not going to do a dividend. And we don't have debt due anytime soon in terms of AMC. Most of it's due in 2026. But usually you're not going to spend money paying a dividend. Because remember, the shorts are only paying on the ones that they're short, but AMC would have to foot the bill for all the other ones. All right. 37.08. We're hanging out. We're breaking above resistance. We're making this red-green move. 37.24. Showing strength. We have about a half hour to go until power hour. All right. SPY triple topped at 440. This was an all-time high, 440.03, triple top. Let's see how that can actually handle the situation. I just called Schwab. They said I had to intentionally sign up for share lending. I am not in the program, so my shares can't be lent out. Okay, awesome. FOIG Factor. Okay, FOIG Factor. Thank you. I'll check out that. Can you message me again, like right now, so it pops at the top, though? Imagine one day on Friday, we're all kicking back. Oh, that's the dream. All the rich apes in the world when we're on the moon. All right. Stephanie is not on yet. They're talking about the S&P 500 NASDAQ hit all-time highs after suffering their worst losses since May on Monday. All over the place. Market doesn't know what it wants to do. Does not know what it wants to do. All right. Oop. All right. IWM is bending back around. What are we doing here? Here we go. Come on, let's hold. Let's hold and push. I want to go into Friday already partying. Like I want the party to start in power hour and then just kind of run all the way all weekend. That's where I'm at mentally with all of this. Let's get this moving. All right, nothing there yet. All right, what questions do we have? Still a good point for new apes to enter. Thoughts, Matt? Also, I strongly believe AMC will go to the moon. I mean, I can't tell anyone when to or when not to enter. Like, that's all up to you if you believe in the DD. For me, I know my thoughts on the DD. I still very, like, I own thousands of shares of AMC, and I'm happy with the DD. I'm happy with the situation. Obviously, it could be better, but in terms of new apes, they have to make that decision for themselves. Like, this isn't one person's trade where us person on social media is like leading it and telling you what to do. It's all of our trades individually. You have to do what's best for you. I'm doing what's best for me. A new ape shouldn't be taking just the blind guidance of someone on like the internet. That's what you would hire a financial advisor for. But why would the volume in open interest on August 13th expiration be so low in comparison? August 13th comparison to what? Why would the volume? So volume. Nope. The volume is how much is traded that day, and the open interest is the current live contracts. This is my first 47.5 for next week. Thanks for all your knowledge and expertise. Brett, I hope you absolutely crush it. Absolutely crush it. All right, IWM pushing. All right, for 219, 220, we might get a very interesting move in IWM into close. Let's see if this can continue. Just so you know, if you're just joining in right now, we're waiting to hear the dark pool discussion between Charles Payne and Stephanie Kammerman on making money. We're waiting. He's speaking with someone else right now about just seasonality. Actually, this is kind of important. As September, I guess mid-September starts to push. All right. Come on. How are we doing this? Come on, AMC, let's do this thing. Let's go. 19. So overall, the SPY is flat now, but it's after a crazy run all day. Like this thing is just ripping, and it's now consolidating, and who knows what it'll do into close. GME, weird day, hit down, beat back up. Now we might be forming some form of a cup and handle. Here's the cup. Let's see what it does. Like it might just want to rip right above 180 for all I know. And then AMC, pretty similar. Hit this morning, fought back, kind of consolidated around just below 36, and now we're at 36.50. Thus far, haven't held this breakout, but this in itself might be a cup and handle. All up at 36.75. I want to see this bend back around. It would be phenomenal to go green right here, 37.24, and then rip into power hour. All right. Let me see this. Let me see. Can you check out VOD? Yeah, we'll check out VOD. You don't know until you know what you didn't know. Thanks for the education, Matt. Finn Watchdog Twitter thoughts. Never heard of Finn Watchdog. I'd have to look into that. Matt been traveling for 2 days, Vegas and now Hawaii tomorrow. Being a duck shirt blackout. What have I missed? A lot of just, I don't know, AMC, GME slowly drifting down, but not getting beaten down. Market hit a new all-time high. IWM being a little bit weird because of the infrastructure deal. Is she coming up next? She is next. All right. He just said she's next. All right. Sweet, sweet, sweet. We're getting ready. Getting ready. Getting ready. Getting ready. Thoughts on Cineworld in the UK? Most short stock in the UK. Jump on that after AMC. Same situation. That's tough. That is really tough. Just because I don't know if Cineworld has the same community support that AMC does. It's very important. Just because something's highly shorted, it in no way means that it's actually going to squeeze. In fact, highly shorted stocks commonly fall. That's why AMC and GME are so special. Is they have a huge support behind them, a huge social media based community that kind of helped it fight against the grain. BODY up 40% squeeze potential, or text data, please. BODY. All right, let me pull that up. But we're just waiting for Stephanie Cameraman to start. BODY. It has a short interest of 8.81%. That's really not that high. I don't think that's a short play. Remember, stocks can move up a lot without being shorted. Like, that's not a prerequisite for a large gain. Sometimes something's just announced and people start buying it. They get excited. But not squeeze potential, no. Remember, squeeze is legitimately shorts are being squeezed. Like, shorts are being squeezed out of their position. Oh, and someone asked about VOD. VOD. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. I was more favorable of a bounce. It has a lot of gaps in this chart, though. Why? NASDAQ. It's not that highly traded of a company. I mean, average volume, 4.45 million shares. But in terms of technicals, it is oversold, and we've been bouncing off of that. I would look for it to get above $16, $17, something like that. But I wouldn't trade it, honestly. I just don't like it that much, like the chart. All right. Are we ready? Let's do this. Come on, load. All right. When she starts, I'll turn the volume on. I'm just waiting for the ad to end. Appreciate. Good job there. Shout out. Vegas and Hawaii. Irish. It sounds like you're having a great time. Sounds like you're having a great old time. Ooh, SPY picking up. This might be the candle that's tipping its hat that it could be running in power hour. What time is it? 2:40. This might be the one that does it in. If we start to build up and break, this thing might start running. Now trending on Twitter, Dark Pool Corruption. Shout out, Champ, Gorilla Champ. Made a deal with myself. If AMC dips, I get to eat spinach and artichoke dip until the reversion, looking thick AF over here. Oh, I love that. All right. Clear Choice, dental implant. Free, I guess we're giving Clear Choice a free sponsorship today. All right. We want AMC to come right back above this, 36.75, currently trading at 36.50. GME trading at 179.13. Before this, let's do a quick text check for everyone, especially if you're just joining in. The borrow against AMC, the net borrow 1.35 million with the total borrow of 3.28 million, short interest of 14.72%. GameStop, a net return of 30,000, pretty much net neutral, short interest of 14.85%. All right.
Now, I got to tell you, one of the first things I learned when I started on Wall Street is that the system is not fair. And I will be the first to admit that it's rigged in so many ways, and yet it's still the greatest wealth creation machine in history. So with that in mind, I see things like in volume, price action, other ways that are telegraphed that the big insiders are using to get the edge, and sometimes at the expense of individual investors. But an area I'm not an expert in are the dark pools. But my next guest spent 8 years trying to fight this battle alone, and she's joining us now, Stephanie Kammerman, also known as the Stock Whisperer. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us. First, just tell us, what is a dark pool?
Hi there, Charles. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, the market is rigged and manipulated by the dark pool. And what it is it's this alternative trading system called an ATS, where the big institutions do most of their trades. And why they love to do their trades in this alternative exchange is that they don't have to report one single share until their entire order is completed. So they have 3 hours, even after it's completed, to show their hand, to show us their trade. So they love it.
Right. And of course, it can be worse than that, because you discovered some loopholes in this dark pool system, including that 24-hour late rule. How does that work?
Well, I was informed by a floor trader that if Goldman Sachs, we'll just use him, he's one of the biggest institutions out there, if they were to cross their trade from their London desk to their New York desk, they don't have to report this trade for 24 hours. This is huge. I mean, I've spotted them selling massive amounts. We're talking billions of dollars, Charles, at the top without showing their hand for 24 hours. They're literally coming in the next day. You know, this should be illegal, but there's that loophole, and they buy the same way. We don't see one single share until 24 hours later. Right. They're literally coming in all day long. Yeah, it's a huge advantage.
So no, of course, the dark pool implies a lack of transparency, obviously. And we know that whenever there's a lack of transparency, when something is opaque, bad things happen. So right now, we hear about fines, right? But they're so minuscule. I mean, people are saying they're a joke. Tell us about some of the fines that have, quote unquote, been leveled against these big firms.
Yeah, I'm just going to talk about a couple of them, but, you know, it's ridiculous. So in 2016, Barclays and Credit Suisse, they were allowing high-frequency traders into their dark pool, which, number one, that is so illegal. And then they were letting them front run. Okay, this was so bad. They got fined $154 million, which may seem like a lot to you guys, but it's nothing. They made billions of dollars. And Goldman Sachs got fined in 2011. They were doing price discrepancy in their dark pool, so people were getting filled at really bad prices. And what did they get fined? They got fined like $800,000. They make more than that before they even have breakfast, Charles. Citadel.
I got to ask you about Citadel.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about Citadel Connect. What's going on there?
Well, first of all, Citadel got fined $700,000 a little while ago for front running in front of their customers. Okay, so now there's these angry investors out there, and they have every right to be angry. But they're claiming that Citadel has this exchange called the Citadel Connect, which is supposedly not a dark pool. All right, it's not registered as an ATS. And they are claiming that there are trades being done right now, you guys, that are not being reported to FINRA. Now, I have not done personal research on this, Charles, but if it's happening, I mean, this is disgusting. The SEC needs to do something about this right now if they're, they're not being compliant. If this is really happening, there needs to be something done right now.
So, in the meantime, though, Stephanie, because we're running out of time, unfortunately, it's TV, but I'm going to bring you back. Listen, it's not a transparent system. These dark pools are being abused. And the bottom line is this manipulation does hurt investors in stocks like AMC and GameStop. Is that your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, there's this short squeeze happening right now, as many of you know. And, they really believe that there are trades being done in this other exchange and it's not being reported. So, what can we do, Charles? What can we do? The SEC needs to look into this. We have to expose this. We need to change this. So I'm here today to shed light on the dark pool, and I hope that you invite me back so I can shed some more.
No, we will. We will. Now, I know there's ways to make money off the dark pools, but right now we're looking at the more nefarious aspects of it because we want everyone in the market. It's got to be a fair, transparent market. And why the hell do these trillion-dollar folks need any advantage anyway? Stephanie, you're fantastic. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you again real soon. Meanwhile, folks, stock market research firms, departments, they never really recovered from the Wall Street settlement. If you guys remember that
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess interesting. I want to look more into when they were talking about, and she actually said that on her interview here on this show, kind of that nature of if Goldman Sachs, if I remember this right, she was saying that if they let one of their other desks execute it, they somehow get like a 24-hour window. The main question I have from that, my main question is, she kept saying it doesn't have to be reported. Like, what does reporting a trade do? Is reporting a trade a volume spike? Is it when it actually impacts the price action? Like, what? We need the details on like specifically what does reporting a trade actually do? Who are they reporting it to? Like, what are the details of an actual trade report? So maybe that's something we could get her to clarify here or something like that, or maybe we can get her to clarify it on Twitter. But I want to just know, like, when people are saying, oh, they have X amount of time before a trade's reported. Okay, well, what's that mean? Does that mean we're not seeing the volume? Does that mean it's not coming across on the ticker tape? Does that mean that it's not even impacting the price? Like, there's a lot of questions, at least in my mind, of what, when we're referring to reporting a trade, what's actually all involved in reporting. That's a good thing to just say of like, oh, it's not reported, but like, I want to know the actual implications of that. In terms of the 700,000 thing, I made a video on like that last night. If you want to check that out, it's called Citadel Caught. And I also have the link so you could read about like what they were actually caught doing. But basically, a huge amount out of like 519 trades, I think like 450, 460 were delayed to the tune of a couple minutes, which in the world of trading is actually kind of a big deal. We were looking into that a bit more today, and you could see that the FINRA like documentation on it. So they were delaying orders by a couple minutes, and they were trading themselves and not fulfilling their customer orders. But in that particular like legal case, it was not being delayed by days. It was being delayed by minutes. But in the world of trading, that's actually still like a big deal, definitely a big deal, especially when that's their duty. Like if you're signing up saying, hey, we're doing this and we're giving people best execution, the best price possible. Well, are you really? They were marking all of these trades as inactive. And when I'm saying they, I'm referring to Citadel Securities, the market maker. But once again, my sources and all that were in the video posted yesterday. Interesting talk. Unfortunately, not too far into the details. Like I wanted more of like the actual systematic details of what does and doesn't happen. So one of these days we should definitely get an interview with someone who has that level of expertise, because that's a point that we're kind of as a community at large. The Ape Nation community, we're aware of dark pools. We get what they're supposed to do, and we get more of the nefarious aspects of how sometimes they're selling their backdoors to high frequency traders, how sometimes they're like apparently obfuscating certain important pieces of data. But it would be nice to get on someone who knows like the mechanical expertise. She brought up Citadel Connect, and I believe she mentioned that she has not looked into that really like herself. So that's something that like, hey, if you want a little bit of homework this weekend, I know myself, I'll be looking more into Citadel Connect. I've had a couple conversations with people who know far more about it than I do. So I'm hoping over this weekend, I can do a little bit more DD myself and I guess better articulate to all of you if you haven't heard about it. But basically, it's one of those things that it really much sounds like and looks like a dark pool, and then they're not calling it a dark pool. But I mean, if it sounds like a duck and waddles like a duck, it's probably a duck. But anyway, that's another thing that if you want to look into it, that's kind of a hot topic item right now in Ape Nation, is specifically Citadel Connect, where it really, really does have all the distinguishing marks of a dark pool, but somehow they're just not calling it a dark pool. All right, 700K, that just a slap on the wrist cost of doing business. Okay, yeah, so that was the article that came out in July of 2020. And that one was hang on, Financial Times. That's this one. Citadel right here. That's this one. the main takeaway is, based on a review in 559 instances, Citadel Securities traded ahead of inactive OTC customer orders. So what they were doing was, actually, it's better explained right here. Over a 2-year period in September 2014, the market maker removed hundreds of thousands of large OTC orders from its automated trading process, according to FINRA. That rendered the orders inactive and so had to be handled manually by human traders. The takeaway, and I know the part that a lot of people are going to hop onto, is Citadel Securities delayed certain equity orders. Yes, they delayed them, but if you look into the additional documentation about this, the delay it's not multiple days, it's minutes. But like I said earlier, that is still a very big deal. They're literally like, it's what they did was illegal, hence why they were fined. And then that brings up the second point of like, this fine, it's probably a joke. The fact that they're doing this with large block orders, essentially front running 415 of 559 instances. I'm assuming, I think it's a pretty safe assumption that they made more than 700,000 on it. So what you were referring to of a slap on the wrist, it's a speeding ticket to them. 700,000, that's nothing. Not even $1 million. On top of that, right here, this is a different thing related to FINRA's requirements to display orders. The bulk of the violations were from failing to execute trades against existing quotations in a timely manner. So another thing where like we're referring to time, and I know in this community, various people are discussing this concept of holding it for multiple days. That's not what this is about. I would love it. Like, I was doing some research of my own over the past 2 days. I was trying to find an instance in which a market maker was caught for delaying orders for multiple days. I can't find that. If you have that, please send it my way. I would love to discuss it on a stream. I would love to create a video on it. But everything that I'm finding specific to this one, the delayed orders and the not a timely manner, was more of in the realm of a couple minutes, like a handful of minutes, and not even hours or days. I'm not saying that they don't do that. I'm just saying I haven't found a legal case that like has exposed that quite yet. But overall, that's the 700,000. This is Citadel Securities, the market maker that most likely, if you've traded AMC or GME, you've then dealt with, because they've basically metastasized through the entire Wall Street system. It's very, very hard to avoid Citadel Securities and Virtu. They basically run a monopoly or a duopoly, I suppose, on really trading market at large, and they definitely dominate the retail trading space. But if you want to search this yourself, U.S. regulator finds Citadel Securities over trading breach. It was written by Financial Times, if you want to check that out yourself. All right, so where are we? AMC waking up, GME waking up, AMC going 36 to 25. 36.25, 36.60. We're swinging back around. This is awesome. Go back and watch your video of your interview with her. I believe she explains all of it. Also, much love and thanks for everything you do. Yeah, so that is still up on a stream. YouTube wasn't the most fond of me being able to clip that and post that as its own video. Just some of the words that were said in the interview, but they haven't taken down the full stream. So feel free to check that out. She didn't really explain the mechanics of it in that. So actually in prep for today's interview, I went back and watched that myself last night, and we still didn't get like a mechanical stock market plumbing explanation of it. And I think the community were advanced to that point where that's like what we're actually looking for, beyond just like, I guess the simple sentence of dark pools, nefarious, crazy things happen in there that hurts retail. Okay, we all got that. That's exactly why it's trending on Twitter. We're all on board with that. But to get true reform and true change, we need to get specifics. We need to get hyper detailed, and that's like the things that you have to then fight, and ideally even have some evidence to provide to show like what's going on is illegal, immoral, and damaging to the overall stock market ecosystem. I see a lot of people saying Stephanie Cameraman. We already did an interview with her, and then other people saying bringing on Keenan Grace. That has not happened, but I would definitely do that. Why is this mic not working? But yes, Stephanie has already previously come on the channel, but like I said, Keenan Grace hasn't. If this is your first time hearing of Keenan Grace, super, super energetic YouTube finance creator, entertainer. Check out his channel for sure. Always puts a smile on your face. Hey, Matt, I asked my financial advisor about my stock. He said it needs more salt. Made a deal with myself. Oh, the spinach and artichoke. Apes need to protect her at all costs. Matt, I have calls for the current dip play on SPY. I'm up 116%. Would you hold over the weekend? I mean, the weekend, it's tough. You never know what's going to happen. Announcements, especially right now, with some people not worried at all about this Delta variant. Other people are worried about the Delta variant. So that's up to you. Like, how lucky are you feeling? I have no idea what the weekend will bring. If you're hesitant, you could take your profits. You could take a portion of your profits. Remember, you don't have to go all in or all out at once. Like, that's not a requirement of trading. In fact, I've seen more skillful traders, they commonly scale in and scale out. You don't want to go all in and all out at once. That, like, it's a lot more luck involved in that scenario then. How do we push the SEC to do their jobs, call it out? I mean, I would argue continuing what we're already doing. Like, we're making a lot of waves. I mean, things are trending on Twitter, lots of, I don't know, lots of votes on Reddit, lots of views on YouTube. Like, the general public is becoming more and more informed about the actual situation and what is going on. So I would say just keep making the waves that we are making, and hopefully the community continues to grow in size so we have a larger and larger voice. Can you try to get her on today? Brandy, we spoke with her on the interview like weeks ago at this point. I don't know, like, I would have to come up with like a new set of questions or something like that. But once again, I think to further this dark pool discussion, it's more of we need someone that has expertise in the mechanics of what dark pools can do and what they're supposed to do in theory and what they do in practice, so we all have a little bit more knowledge of how they're able to pull off these illicit actions. Like I said, we definitely need more of the expert in the plumbing aspects of a dark pool. And also, it would be nice to know how that all pairs up with really payment for order flow and how they're connected with market makers. So with that, we need someone with like very intimate knowledge of it. Ideally, someone who's worked at a dark pool or worked for a dark pool or whatever it is. That would be kind of like the way to go, in my opinion. Has anyone heard anything from Citadel? They are getting brought up all over the news and internet. Figured at some point they would comment. I have not heard anything. I'm assuming their PR team, their legal team is like, probably just don't say anything, if I had to guess. 74 million versus 501 million shares outstanding. How does that impact the squeeze? So I have to buy over 5 AMC to get the same percentage ownership of 1 GME. So GME is technically cheaper than AMC. Is EMC debt free from like GME? Amy, you can't do that kind of comparison. So you're right in GME has 74 million shares. It has a lower float while AMC has a higher float at 501. So I have to buy 5 AMC to get the same percentage ownership. Okay, I see what you're saying there. Well, you would also, yeah, okay. Your ownership, I would agree with that. So GME is technically cheaper than AMC. I don't know where you came up with that one. That's how you define value. You could define if something's cheap or not based on its EBITDA. You could look at its price to earnings ratio, its earnings per share. There's various ways of if something is cheap or not. You can't just say it's technically cheaper, because there's there's an immense amount of ways to define if something is cheap or overvalued. Are you looking at the RSI? Are you looking at its earnings? Are you looking at its debt? Are you looking at its future debt? Like, are you considering potential share dilutions? Like, there's so many things that could go into that equation. Matt, you got to look into VEQ link, Virtu's version of Citadel Connect, and why doesn't the whole Ape Nation fill the SEC in FINRA's complaint box. I mean, there is actually, I think it's still open of a way that your voices could be heard with the SEC. Lisa Braganacka, I hope I'm saying her name right. Her last name's tough. She's a SEC lawyer attorney who was tweeting this out and has spoken a couple times right here. Lisa Braganacka. She's a SEC defense attorney, and she was tweeting it out. So if you want to know more about like the SEC legal aspects of some of the things going on, you might want to check out her Twitter. But I believe she tweeted out where you can file like your official comments. So give this a whirl. It's somewhere in her Twitter. But she definitely is one of more. She has expertise in the legal side of things, which I think could obviously be very, very important. Very important. AMC waking up, looking for that red-green move. This is the green right here. 37.24 is where we closed out yesterday. Matt, we did that. We have not heard anything from any real-world example of what dark pools are doing. Any real-world examples? It depends on like what you mean in what they're doing. The way dark pools are pitched, of like I assume how they were pitched to the SEC and hence allowed, was along the lines of higher competition, as in. So one of the advantages of why people want to trade in dark pools is there's no level 2. You don't see the current buy orders. You don't see the current sell orders. So if you're trying to buy a lot and not tip your hat, or if you're trying to sell a lot without your competitors knowing, you would go to a dark pool. And if you get filled, you get filled. But like it would be more of like a slow and steady process. It's not the easiest to get massive size filled on the buy or the ask, especially if the stock is a little illiquid. But that's why they're pitched of like, it's holding your cards really, really close to your chest. Of like, I don't want anyone to know I'm attempting to buy or sell, because sometimes if you do that, people front run you and then you never get the fill, or people think you know something that they don't, so they buy it up and you still don't get the fill, and your information is hence like already out there. Like it's all about showing your hand. Like that's how a dark pool is pitched. And that's like, if you read about it, that's like how they're saying that it should be allowed. But overall, why they were pitched is very different of how they're being used in practice. So like I said, they're being pitched for large players to be like, hey, I want to be more competitive. So you would expect that a lot of the blocks are large blocks, because that's what you're supposed to do in them. But in reality, we see the opposite. We see an incredible amount of small block trading. Why is that? Well, a lot of it is high frequency trading. Those algorithms that are in and out within nanoseconds, they're taking advantage of price discrepancies. They're taking advantage of front running of other traders because they somehow figured out what they're trying to do. So you really see the opposite. Instead of a lot or a few amount of huge trades, we're seeing a lot of small trades. And that is more of a result of just how much high frequency trading is gutting the entire trading world, and a lot of it ends up happening within dark pools. Just so you know, there's more than one dark pool. There's about 40 major dark pools, and the top 5 or 10 really dominate most of the volume. But there's about 40 major dark pools. There's about 14 major exchanges, such as the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, IEX, et cetera. And then there's obviously, in terms of non-ATSs, that's another type of venue. It's not a dark pool, but it's also not an exchange. That's more of the wholesale retail broker, and that's going to be your market makers such as Citadel and Virtu. What stops companies buying on dark pools and then selling on New York Stock Exchange? Nothing. Nothing at all. Like, you can do that. I mean, you could do that right now if you wanted to. If you had a brokerage that allowed you direct market access, you would be able to buy on an exchange and sell on a dark pool, or buy on a dark pool and then sell on an exchange. It's just another venue. And a venue is just a place that facilitates the connecting of buyers and sellers. But nothing stops a company from buying on dark pools and selling on the New York Stock Exchange at all. And you could also do the opposite. You could buy on a lit exchange and then sell on a dark pool. Tell him dark pools are like drug dealing. Matt, our OBV is almost at an all-time high. Shouldn't that mean price should be holding in relation? Thanks. On balance volume, no. That's not the way on balance volume is correlated with price. It's just more of correlated with a trend. So if OBV is pushing up, that means that the trend is like currently strong and also pushing up. Flash Boys is a good book that talks dark pools and high frequency trading. That's actually a really good book. It's written by Michael Lewis, and it's worthwhile to read. And that's all about high frequency trading. Some of the things that there were discussed in this book are actually illegal now. The book isn't the most recently written book, but it's a great, great read if you want to know a little bit about high frequency trading and really where the exchange IEX came from. It's a good one. Oh my dark pools. Matt, it's been said you've never getting married, but have you ever considered lowering your standards? Like, would you consider a duck? Just transferred shares TD to Fidelity. Guy from TD just called and asked why. I told him I was upset the way TD is purchasing shares. She said we would let management know and pretty much said goodbye and hung up. All right, we just made that red-green move on AMC. Just transferred Nathan Lee, TD. I think, doesn't TD though, if you're on Thinkorswim, I'm curious, Nathan, if you're on that platform, do they have direct market access? Do they have any routing options to you? I know things like eTrade Pro and Active Trader Pro on Fidelity, they have more of like the routing options and you can choose where it can or doesn't go to. But I'm curious if TD also has that as an option. Like either paid or not. I was just curious if that is allowed to you on that profile. On that brokerage, I should say. What about the guy they call JJ, the Gorilla, a former market maker? I listened to his podcast with him and Confessions of a Market may be good. Big Mike, I have not listened to that myself, but I'm definitely interested in checking that out. Yes, okay, so someone just said yes, direct routing is an option on TD. Oh wait, now some people are saying no, they're not. But more people are saying yeah. It sounds like it's possible. Just anecdotally, if you're reading this, it does sound like you get some routing options, market access, direct market access on TDA. Just so you know, the more you know. All right, EQ link. Citadel makes Delta equals shutdown AMC again. Tinfoil hat. I don't know what you mean. Citadel makes Delta CBEC. Not quite sure what you mean. People are talking about the Fin Watchdog on Twitter. Let's check this out. Fin Watchdog. Fin Watchdog. Next Friday, July 30th at 4:15, the Federal Reserve will be publicly releasing total derivative exposure numbers of all the biggest domestic and foreign banks and their lending clients, including Citadel. Well, that could be interesting. That could be really interesting. I guess I'd have to look into it. This is just being posted on Twitter. Just being posted on Twitter, but could be some credibility to it. Next Friday, so obviously a week from today. All right, what are we doing with IWM? Hey, IWM and SPY, not really moving right now, but GME and AMC are. AMC green on the day. We made that red-green move. It's right here at 37.24 is where it's officially in the green, up by 12 cents. Let's do this thing. We're kicking off power hour. We're about 10 minutes into the day. 10 minutes into power hour, and let's hope that we could hold this green, like, end the week on a nice positive point. Let's see back. Citadel makes delta. Not quite sure what that means. What do you think is going on with NAOV, a short squeeze? NAOV. I mean, I could see it's short interest really quick. NOAV. Is that the stock, right? NAOV. That's why it's not coming up. NAOV. No, it has a short interest of 1%, 1.2%. There's no way that's a short squeeze. Oh, Citadel makes Delta variant. Oh, conspiracy. Gotcha. The Delta variant. I was thinking of Delta as in like an options thing. Oh. Mental sounds mad. Matt has never answered one of my questions. That's a bummer. I guess on the bright side, it's good that I don't really technically owe you anything. All right, come on, AMC. Let's get green. It's just a little bit of green, something to hang our hats on heading into the weekend. Honestly, just beyond the fact that we're at 37 and they cannot seem to really get this thing to fall as much as they try. Matt Bandana. Oh, here it is. Bandana. All right, let me get this bandana already. The bandana. Okay, Joshua Thomas, thank you for this clarification. Direct routing is available and free on TDA. Go to client services. So if you're on TD, aka Thinkorswim, that's like their platform. It sounds like it's free and you could pick your route, and all you have to do is go to client services. Allows direct routing for free. You just have to sign a waiver for understanding the effect of direct routing. Slow fill, slower sale. It may not be the best price in the market offering. Hey, Matt, I think it's important to understand there are many large funds that are looking to dethrone Citadel. It's a matter of time. I agree with that in terms of their hedge fund, but in my opinion, a more malicious actor right now is Citadel Securities, the market maker, not Citadel, the hedge fund. Do I think Citadel, the hedge fund, is doing crazy, weird, like illicit, immoral things? Yeah, of course. But I'm selling on a relative basis. I think Citadel Securities is more damaging to the overall market. I mean, right now, Citadel Securities and Virtu are like, they're the duopoly. They run the market making space. Matt sent you a song on Twitter yesterday, and you said you would play it today with Twitter name. So with that, I need to like review all the music, Jose. A lot came in, and we're kind of like building up an overall, I guess, playlist of songs. But we were playing some music this morning, so I could play some music that I know is like are gonna be good, and the artists aren't gonna be mad or anything. But I can't just play whatever music I want. There are like certain copyright issues and DMCA issues. Thinner Sand, bandana. All right, market taking a dip at the end of the day here, folks. What is going on? Someone's selling the SPY. All right, we have about 45 minutes. GME looking strong. I mean, it's green on the day. It's up by $2.30. And then AMC right below that red-green move. Can we get magnets on the chart? We could definitely add some magnets here into close. A nice pattern of higher lows, higher highs. GME on fire, folks. And AMC looks similar, just like a little bit further down, but the charts look very, very similar. So hopefully 2 well-placed magnets could help both of these out. It's just... Oops, I guess you can't do that over there. You have to... Let's just get 2 well-placed magnets and see how it plays out into close. All right. All right. There we go.